You play the hand that you were dealt. I should have just folded. Instead, I'm looking down at a 7-2 offsuit, and I'm hoping to win, but I know I'll just end up with egg on my face. My name is Michael. It wasn't always Michael, but I'll get to that later. I grew up like most of you all did. Just a normal kid in a normal family. I lost my mother when I was just 12 years old, and it took a lot out of the entire family. Jessica, my sister, became incredibly distant and quiet, while my father became abusive. I'm pretty sure he sexually abused Jessica quite a lot, but I never knew for sure. And she wouldn't tell me, even if he did. We both moved out the moment we graduated high school. I got a job in a factory and Jessica went to college. I lived in a studio apartment about 2 hours from where I grew up, and for the most part, I was a hermit. I'd work nights, stay up until 7 in the morning playing video games, and masturbating to filthy pornography before repeating the process day and out. The factory job was good money, terrible working conditions, but good money. The more I slipped into my pit of self-loathing and smut, the more I started to hate my life. I was never one to really appreciate the little things. I never stopped to smell the roses. Eventually, everything came at me all at once. I was laid off, nowhere to go, and living off unemployment. I contemplated suicide on multiple occasions, but never went through with it. It was time to go through with it. I had it all planned in my head. I was going to have one last meal, which was my favorite meal, White Castle sliders with onion sticks. While Gordon Ramsay would scold in disgust at my choice of culinary decadence, I just enjoyed the cheap taste. After the meal, I'd play my favorite video game, Majora's Mask, and then end the night with a bullet through my temple. Everything would be perfect. Of course, that's not what happened. I ate my food, played my game, and when it came time to do the deed, I chickened out. Fuck it. I'll get some sleep and do it tomorrow, I told myself. But I was just biding time. I don't remember falling asleep, but when I awoke during the night, my television was static. The salt and pepper dance that we all know and love. I rubbed my eyes and went to turn my television off, when the static disappeared and an infomercial came on. It started like every other one I've seen, but it quickly separated itself from the pack.
You, yes, you! Are you depressed? Lonely? Suicidal? You shouldn't be. There is always another life worth living. Call today to cancel your suicide. God has a plan for everyone, and your plan isn't to die.
This wasn't flex tape or sham wow. This was something I'd never seen before. The man pitching the idea looked like every other salesperson on the TV. Short, blonde hair, clean cut, colored polo shirt, and a pair of khakis. The number flashed across my screen, and I merely took it as pure happenstance, more than anything. With a click of my remote, the television was off, and I was off to bed. I awoke the next morning with the worst migraine I've ever had. As I walked to my living room to get a drink, I heard the television turn itself on. and a familiar voice echoing out from the speakers.
You! Yes, you! Are you depressed? Lonely? Suicidal? You shouldn't be! There is always another life worth living. Call today to cancel your suicide. God has a plan for everyone, and your plan isn't to die.
I slowly approached the television and turned it off, still a bit confused. I thought it was just a glitch in the Matrix, but the moment I turned it off, I heard it turn on again. The message, however, was different from before.
Don't turn your back on us. We're here to help. Call today to cancel your suicide.
At that point, I lunged toward the couch and turned the television off, sitting at the edge in a dry sweat. This was more than a mere coincidence. This was intentional. I stared at my reflection into the black screen of my television, swallowing my fear as I hoped it wouldn't turn back on. It did.
Do we have your attention now? Good! Your life is precious. Like a seed in dirt, you need to help grow and become the beautiful flower that we know you are. Call today to cancel your suicide.
Once again, the number flashed across my screen. I looked at my phone, then back at the screen. Fuck it, I said, while shaking my head. I dialed the number and waited a few rings until a female voice picked up the phone. Thank you for making the first step toward the rest of your life. Please wait while we transfer you to an agent. The bubbly, upbeat elevator music would begin, soon replaced with an eager voice of another female. Mr. Dempsey, we've been expecting your call. Are you ready to cancel your suicide? I gulped. Yes, I replied with hesitation. Great! An agent will be over first thing tomorrow morning to get started. Congratulations on your new life, Mr. Dempsey. But you don't know where I live, I said in a confused tone. Oh, Mr. Dempsey, we know all. There was a click, followed by silence. I stood in absolute bewilderment. Could this really be happening? Was this just some sort of dream, or nightmare, I guess? And I was just dreaming? Well, I made my bed, and it was time to see if this were real or just an elaborate prank. I spent the rest of the night doing what I normally did, surrounding myself with smut and video games. I fell asleep sometime during the early morning hours only to be awakened by my doorbell at exactly 6 a.m. in the morning. As I peeked through the door, I saw a smiling man in a brown overcoat with a briefcase in his hand. I opened the door expecting it to be a sales pitch, but at this early? Can I help you? I said in a groggy tone. Mr. Dempsey, charmed as ever to meet you, sir. My name is Stephen DeChamp, and I am here to cancel your suicide. Are you ready, sir? This clearly wasn't a dream anymore. I really don't have my stuff packed, or... He cut me off. You won't be needing anything, Mr. Dempsey. Come, let's be on our way. I sighed. I threw on an old Iron Maiden shirt I had laying on the floor and locked my door behind me. In hindsight, I shouldn't have gone, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Maybe this was a cult, and I was able to be their leader or something. I don't know. I was delusional. I don't remember much after getting into the car, but when I awoke, I was strapped into a chair in a large white room. The walls, ceilings, and floor were all milky white with barely any other distinguishable colors. I began to frantically move my body to get out of the chair, and almost on cue, the double doors opened. The same man from before walked in and pulled up a chair next to me, putting his briefcase onto the table. He licked his fingertips and began to shuffle through his papers. Let's see here. He started to read from a single piece of legal-sized paper. Connor Charles Dempsey, 25 years old, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 215 pounds, graduate of George Washington High School, class of 2010, mother Maria Dempsey, born August 1st, 1970, died February 12th, 2004. Father Douglas Dempsey, born January 5th, 1968, sister Jessica Dempsey, born November 8th, 1993. Everything he said was correct. He had my entire life mapped out. He peered over at me, over his papers with a smile. Well, today is your first day of the rest of your life. Before I could react, someone from behind injected something into my neck. I don't remember anything until I woke up strapped into a bed. I had a terrible headache and my entire face was swollen. As I struggled to move, a nurse approached me and ran her hands through my hair with a smile. I could barely see her face as my eyes were swollen as if I were stung by 1,000 hornets. You woke up early, Mr. Robinson. The healing process is still going on, she said in a cheerful voice. Another injection into the neck, and another blackout. When I awoke for the second time, my headache was gone and the pain around my face had subsided. I could even see again. I was still strapped to the bed, but on cue again came the man from before with a briefcase. He would smile at me as we make eye contact as he placed his briefcase on the table to the side. You're awake! Good. Sabrina will be by shortly to walk you through the process. Once you're ready, take a look around at your surroundings. On this table will be a set of instructions for you to follow. Do so, and you'll be out of here in no time. The man tipped his hat at me. It was a pleasure, Mr. Robinson. Thank you for choosing us, and we wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, whatever they may be. Thank you for canceling your suicide. And with that, he got up and left. I was confused as to why he was calling me by a different name. But perhaps he had just forgotten who I was. As he was leaving, a beautiful blonde with baby blue eyes entered the room. She smiled and undid my shackles and eased me up. You've been asleep for quite some time. Take it easy. My legs felt like spaghetti, wobbly and weak. I slowly made my way to the wheelchair. Sabrina wheeled me over to the desk where a folder was set. The tab read instructions in black ink. Inside the folder was a single sheet of paper. These were the instructions. When ready, go toward the dresser and put on the clothes supplied to you. Ask Sabrina to wheel you to the photography room. make sure to smile. Have a blessed day. Simple as that. I looked over at the dresser and looked through the drawers. There was a single plaid shirt, blue jeans, white socks, and a pair of black tennis shoes. Sabrina helped me get dressed, and after I was fully clothed, she wheeled me out of the room. The hallways were as white as anything I'd ever seen before, so white that it hurt my eyes. As I winced, Sabrina wheeled me through a pair of double doors with a sign that read photography. There, I saw a green screen propped up and a single photographer ready for me. "Ah, Mr. Robinson. Please wheel him over there, Sabrina," the man said in a cheery tone. I was still confused as to why they were calling me a different name. Perhaps they had mixed me up with someone else who cancelled their suicide. As I was wheeled to the center of the green screen, I felt a bit uneasy. Sabrina helped me get to my feet. My legs were still as weak as before. "Don't worry, sir. It'll be over in a minute. Look into the camera and smile." I did as he said. With a smile, there was a flash. Soon after, Sabrina injected something into my neck again. Before I could react, all I remember was pitch black. Darkness. I awoke to the sounds of horns honking and the tires spinning. As I looked out the window, I could tell I was in an automobile of sorts. Driving the car was a man I had not seen before. "Hey, where am I?" There was silence. The man looked at me through the mirror, then back at the road. No matter how hard I tried to get him to talk, he never responded. The drive felt like forever, and eventually I fell back asleep. I woke back up to the sound of the car door opening. The man got out and opened the trunk, taking out 2 bags and tossing them to the ground. He opened my door and helped me out of the car. "This is your stop," he said in a stern voice. He handed me a wallet and a set of keys. "Enjoy your new life. Thank you for choosing us," he said as he went to go back into the car. "Wait, where am I?" I said. There was silence. He got back into the car and drove off, leaving me in the dust. The keys were to the house right where he dropped me off. As I unlocked the door, I walked into a home that smelled like gingerbread. I saw a female standing in the middle of the living room, looking lost. "Who are you?" she asked. "Lady, I have no idea. I was given a set of keys and this is where I am." She was silent. "You canceled your suicide, didn't you?" I was stunned. She proceeded to tell me she did so as well, and she was living a completely new life. New name, new face, new everything. I didn't believe her, but when I looked into the mirror for the first time, it was all making sense. My features that once belonged to Connor Dempsey were almost gone. Still distinguishable in small aspects, but for the most part, I was a completely different person. The wallet I was given had a whole new identification inside. New ID, a social security card, and birth certificate. The face on the ID matched the face I have now. My new name was Michael Ryan Robinson. I was born March 5th, 1991. I had dirty red hair and green eyes. I lived at 14 Debbie Lane. Connor Dempsey was just a memory. The woman in the home was given the identity of Marcia Robinson, my wife. We had never met, but this was the life she was given. Both of us were in a new environment with new life, new home, and we had no idea how to get back. Both of us just sat on the couch in silence. As I fumbled through my wallet, I found a business card with a contact number. On the back of the card was a message. "Thank you for canceling your suicide." I looked around at my new wife, my home, and my new life. This isn't what I wanted. I was a nobody before, but at least I knew who I was. I was Connor Charles Dempsey, son of Maria and Douglas Dempsey, but now I have no idea who I am, and I have no idea what to do. I beg of you, if you ever have suicidal thoughts, there are better ways around it. Don't do what I did, and for the love of Christ, if you see this infomercial late at night, don't do it.